Hello, hello. Lots of technical difficulties. I've been trying to start a little late because I've been trying to get my interview thing to work, and people haven't been able to call in. So, um, let me see here. New interview settings, page title. Da, 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 da. I don't know. I mean, for those who you know, uh, hate Carmine, I'm usually able to, um, how do I recreate a new link? Mike interview overlays recording. Jesus Christ! But here we go. Let's try interview chat. I'm sorry, my peeps, but send to the Granderizer. All answer. Play ring chime. Customize interview settings. Oh, here we go. There's a reset link. Let's try reset link. Create new link. All right. Try this new one. See if that works. But welcome. So tonight is the night. Night of the Seven Kingdoms is coming on tonight. Obviously, I've seen it. I've seen it already. I did my review. The rest of you, I'm sure with bated breath. And the problem is it airs. I'm on Atlantic time, so it would air at 11 o'clock, and then it would be like 11:45 by the time it's done, and then we're doing streams into the wee hours. So I was just doing to do a pre-show here tonight, and maybe we'll do a stream tomorrow about people's thoughts on the show and stuff like that. But I don't think Carmine's going to be able to get in, so I'm sorry. But I tried. Link not recognized. That link is either expired or invalid. I just literally like sent you a new link. I don't understand. Yeah, this is what people like, man. This is the entertaining shit. Right? This one? Maybe it's the copy, but it still doesn't look like it's gonna happen. It just says like waiting for him to like enter or something, and he can't get in. Oh well. Oh well. Um, did you get a sympathy egg haircut? Well, what can you do? The it's funny the the amount of comments about like being bald that men make. Women don't really make the comments because it's kind of like we're all cows on a conveyor belt, like ready to be slain, right? Like that's life, right? Like most men are going to lose their hair or lose something, become less attractive over time. Like everybody becomes less attractive over time. Like that's the whole thing. But it's weird when people like I'm not that. I mean, everybody's a little vain, but I'm not that vain. You know. Um, because what if you value beauty, you're gonna die a thousand deaths. Like it's just that's the world, man. Plus, once you're married, like don't I just don't I don't care. Women in general don't really care. That's the big myth. See, like men are very shallow, and all they care about is like women's looks.
And so they assume that women are like them. And it's like, no, women like they care about like personality and success and confidence and sense of humor and all these other things. And they don't really give a shit that much. I mean, you look at like women's movies, um, and like who the perfect men are, right? It's always like Luke Wilson or Mark Ruffalo in those movies, right? They're like attractive enough, but the romantic interest in those romantic movies is never, Brad Pitt. Like it's always like somebody that's like pretty good, but you know, not crazy. But anyway, JC Tanny is going to an ice protest tomorrow. Let's be careful. I encourage you, but man, it's a rough world out there right now. Um, and But yes, America is fucked. At least we get some Dunkin' Egg. Um, you know, it's a fun show. Like I say, like if you're too obsessed with like me over whether it's true to the source material thematically or whatever, it's not gonna be for you. But like there's just by taking scenes out of order, certain things kind of get screwed up. You're like, well, wait a minute. He's going around telling everybody he's Sir Dunk, but he hasn't been called Sir Duncan the Tall yet. They're just going to take his name as Sir Dunk. That's kind of weird, stuff like that. Um, yeah, we're getting commentary from Sweet Robin and the Boys, of course, um, of course, we're gonna have that. Poop jokes, probably lots of poop jokes. It's gonna be, yeah. What else we're gonna do? He came, changed my mic, and now I've got a fucking everything is fucking falling apart on my yeah. Go mic here. There we go. Interview guests. Um, Guest view broadcast. Oh, all right, all right. I know Carmine silence. We wanted to talk about there was a bunch of stuff we were going to talk about too. We had a lot to talk about, and so it's really kind of sad that it, it's rather sad that you won't be able to talk about all that. Thank you, Shock Sound 9. Plans for Marcella in the fanfic. Yeah, so the with regards to Hota's like quest for Marcella is going to continue on. I'm not sure where to bring him next. I'm thinking about the Iron Islands, as there's some plot lines there that kind of need to get wrapped up a little bit. Um, and then, but she's definitely going to continue to be looked for and searched for by Hota, and again she becomes more important because if Tommen dies. Now that said, we kind of know in the fanfic that Cersei has her own Marcella. She has Rosamund, so um, in that sense, she kind of doesn't matter because Rosamund is there, and she's just going to be a stand-in for Marcella. So it's mainly short people making fun of you for being bald. Yeah. Um, the sound was lagging because my mic got switched. I don't know what's been going on with my computer lately. It's crazy. I can hear. Okay. Um, Not sure. Make sure my mic is. Not sure if if Dawn is telepathic, perhaps sentient, interviewing the sword of the morning itself. Reason Ned took it back. It asked nicely.
Huh. It's that'd be something like if it. I'm trying to think about it in terms of a George R. R. Martin kind of situation. Like Dawn is a whisper jewel, or Dawn is like a memory crystal, like in Night Flyers, and so it has like consciousness um, uploaded into it. That's not outside. Like as weird as that sounds, Dawn being a telepathic a telepathic like crystal sword or whatever. That's not outside of where George R. R. Martin has gone with various things. I don't know if I'm bold enough to do something like that with Dawn. Um, Maybe we've got to figure out where Dawn is. Dawn has to be brought up maybe in the. Got to figure out what to do with Dawn, and I guess something in the Aaron chapter. So we're gonna have Aaron wake up in Starfall, but you're right that Dawn needs to be there, and its wielder needs to be there, which means we got to invent a character who is wielding Dawn, or is it just waiting for someone to be voted its wielder, and it just has nobody right now? That's um why is no sound? The sound's back, right? Yeah. Um it's something to think about. Maybe some because it definitely gets it like the whisper, like it being a memory crystal whisper jewel. Um that also relates to like Michael Moorcock with Stormbringer kind of stealing souls and having the sword be conscious itself. Huh. I mean, that's some interesting ideas. We'll see. We'll see. Um, but yeah, Dagmar returning for the fanfic, of course. Dagmar is of course going to return for the fanfic. He's definitely going to be in the next Theon chapter, which will probably takes place at Torrhen Square. But we gotta figure out what exactly to do with Theon. I have some plans for things that are going to happen at Torrhen Square with regards to people coming out of the neck and getting captured and stuff like that, pulling characters out. I'm not sure, if we're talking about the other Brotherhood without banners, needs to be brought into the story. So these are the sorts of things I'm thinking about with Theon, Torrhen Square, and Dagmar and stuff like that. But have you seen enough to know did they do a knight who remembers his vows seeing justice or not? They don't even go into. Do they even get 4 in? I don't even think they get 4 in. Like they do even fewer vows than I think the book. I think they may only do 3. But yeah, they do that. That part is fine. It's fine. It's not in a tent. It's on the field and stuff like that. But it's fine. Where'd you get the inspiration for Byron Swan's story? So there's bits and pieces from different submissions. So the latter part about the Silent Sister and stuff like that was definitely, and Johanna Swan becoming a Silent Sister and like the story being spread like that was from a submission. And then I knew I wanted to have Sir Byron like trying to convince her to come back, and the idea is that like what's the most honorable way, like what's the most perfect way to bring her back, and that's the idea that he didn't even do it through like fighting or like violence or anything like that. He did it through just like talking to her, and brought her back that way. But keep in mind that like and I'll go into this when I go into the going over, but keep in mind that each of those stories, each of the 4 stories before Ashara is kind of an indictment of Westeros and the world in general. And you're supposed to be thinking about Ashara. If you were to read the story twice, Ashara, like with Ashara in mind, the stories are a little different once you think about it that way, you know. So you sort of say like, you know, the hangman's daughter, like there's such a dismissal of like this is just the way men act, and women are supposed to be chaste and not have any agency and things like that, and that's just sort of accepted, you know, as like the premise of her mistake. And when you think about like Ashara Dane and what people wanted the Ashara Dane story to be and what they thought was in her agency to do. And the idea is that like Ashara is not bound by that. Ashara is a fucking rock star and she can be and do whatever she wants. And she can be whatever she wants in the story, and she wants everyone to have choice. You know, the idea is that like there was no choice for her. And then it's the same when we think about like the whores and Herrick, and in this case it's like, you know, the options of bastards and what's available for bastard men and things like that, and sex workers, and then the third story when you're thinking about like Johanna Swan. I mean, the indictment being that she could only bring dishonor, and therefore she wasn't worth like the ransom to bring her back and things like that, and her refusal to go back. And Byron, even though it's like a nice little story, at the same time, like Byron's like big thing is like, please remove all of your agency and submit to religion. So like there's a very negative aspect to Byron as well, like shaming her into returning to Westeros, even though she has all of this power as the Black Swan. And then I mean, Hota's story is all about agency as well. Like, how dare these people pursue like a relationship on their own? You should be submitting to your religion and things like that. So there's a lot of the stories when viewed through Ashara Dane's mindset and what she's and the indictment of Westeros, like the indictment of the world that they live in those stories. Like you begin to think like all of a sudden Ashara is like desires and how like the change she wants for society kind of comes into focus. But yeah. Who are those silver-haired girls who are attending what looked to be Baelor's funeral? I mean, it's never really said. I mean, it's never said. I assume that they're just. I mean, there wasn't enough time for Rhaegal and his wife to come out. But I'm trying to think. Valar is Valar married to a Valyrian? No, he's married to the pink-haired girl, right? He's married to the pink-haired. So, I guess they're just. You could argue what? Kira of Tyrosh? No. Kira of Tyrosh is Daeron's wife. I'm sorry. Wait. Oh, they both married to Kira of Tyrosh. My bad. Jesus. The idea is like, yeah, it's just never Ray Targaryen. No, that she's too young. She's way far too young. Nah, never explained. Whisper Jewel, Dawn is a Glass Candle. Right, isn't there a theory for the Werewood Network, some giant collective consciousness? So, I mean, originally the parallel was going to be the glass candles, because they granted eternal life and things like that. I mean, the other parallel being the house of the undying, um, uh, being a collective consciousness. But whether or not if all the maesters have eternal life, the archmaesters have eternal life. If the archmaesters, like originally when the archmaesters had eternal life, they would have been on a collective consciousness, right? Like with their glass candle living forever. But that was kind of removed. So, um, oh, just watched Solaris. Man, it's been so many years. I watched Solaris in college. I'm trying to remember the um the plot here. Um oh right, he has the dream of the woman coming back. Oh, it's like a exploration of his memories with like ghosts and stuff. Visions and hallucinations. Is there a call, like I forget what the cause. Theorizes the guests are composed of atoms like regular humans, but are made of neutrinos that might be able to destroy them. Oh, that they're caused by some sort of the hallucinations are caused by some sort of sci-fi element. Ah. Um it just always annoyed me what the multi-generational selection process for the Sword of the Morning is. Checklist, what's on it? Or do they just decide, right? Like there's nothing actually written down. I mean, like when they, I mean, comparison, right? When people select a pope, like is there a checklist of things that they want out of a pope? Or is it just they vote? You know, and it depends on the election, right? Certainly for like our heads of state, we don't have like a single like checklist of what we want. It's just like fucking every election is different, and sometimes people pick the absolute worst human being on the planet to be their leader. So it's hard to say. I think it's probably just an election, and they like in theory they're supposed to choose the best fighter, but they don't. I threw in some small thing about Sir Kenos of Case in there because like Sir Kenos, it's funny because he's described as this like chunky dude, and so Darkstar calls him like Sir Kenos the Fat, and yet why does he get to have the horn? Well, I guess he's supposed to be the greatest fighter of House Case, which is just like ridiculous, right? Who knows how elections go? Like elect, if you've watched Survivor enough, you know that like the best athlete is not the person to win Survivor. It's the person who like forms alliances and schemes, right? So I imagine something like that is going on with Dawn. I think it's pretty clear that Darkstar is the best warrior. And so in Darkstar's mind, he's like, I'm the best warrior, I should have Dawn. But he doesn't. And that's probably, that's something that's, made him very angry. So it's, yeah. So we have to conclude that gardening style writing is disastrous, right? I think, yeah, if left unchecked. So if you've like George doesn't have that many novels, but the ones he does, Dying of the Light, Fever Dream, Armageddon Rag. Fever Dream and Armageddon Rag are fairly sizable books. But for the most part, they meander. And then all of a sudden, like, George decides, I'm going to fucking end this book. And I've run into a lot of books like that where you're introducing all of these plot lines. And sometimes I'm like reading a book and I'm like, there's only 50 pages left. How's he gonna fucking, you know, wrap this up, you know? And then they just do it, right? They just cut it and they write an ending really quick. And for the most part, that is George's other books. Now, when you're writing a short story, which is George R. R. Martin's like big ability, you know, you come up with these ideas and you end it quick. It doesn't matter because it's a short story. That doesn't seem like a quick ending. It just seems perfect. And as good as I do think George's novels are, they do just meander and then fucking end. And the endings are great, but they're fast. They're fucking fast. Now, and that if I would say that there's a weakness to his novels, it's that they end really fast. But now we're talking about not only are each of these books twice as big as his other novels, but we're talking like many series. So you're talking about something at this point that's 10 times longer than his novel, than his other novels. 10 times longer. And once it's finished, you're talking about something that's 14 or 15 times longer. And then all of a sudden, just fucking ending it. Like that, it'd be way, 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 way too fast. Well, especially when there's so many goddamn plot lines. Like even if you did it to every plot line, we're just going to end this. We're just going to end this. We're just going to fucking end this. We're just going to end this. It's just, you know, that's a lot of stuff happening all at once. And so, yeah, I would say that like gardening style, I don't think it lends well to a long narrative. I think that you need more structure and plans to a long narrative than yeah. LML threw Preston some shade this morning as the cause of the Elio interview. I didn't say anything. That was all Carmine. Probably LML's got a problem with me because we disagree on Palestine, and LML thinks that like somehow right wingers might be better for Palestine, which is just ridiculous. Like, well, like I believe in the two-state solution and would always vote for a Democrat, and that's the main disagreement between me and L. It's actually politics. I mean, like LML actually like praised Trump on something with like fucking Gaza, and you're like, oh my god, you fucking idiot! Like they fucking caused like the destruction of USAID caused the famine in Gaza. You fucking moron, you know, like just shit like that. But whatever. It's all about Palestine is our disagreement. Since we're talking about swords, I'll mention time traveling. Bran definitely needs ice to split into two swords. Brienne gets one, but who will get the second? So Widow's Wail is presumably with Tommen. And so this idea of like, if you kill Tommen, well, or if Tommen dies, like who would grab it? Would Cersei take it with her as she fled King's Landing? That's probably the best choice because Aegon already has Blackfire. Like he doesn't need another sword. He doesn't need Widow's Wail. So if we're talking about like filling, I'm sorry for my voice. My children have had strep throat, and I've gotten sick from it, and all over Christmas I had some sort of flu too. But yeah, I think that you get too many swords in one place if Aegon comes in and has Widow's Wail too. So I think Cersei will be stealing Widow's Wail. And I don't know, just giving it to Rosamund as like a symbol of her power or something, you know. That's the best I can say about it. On what logically would happen to those swords. Is that someone would grab it and and leave with it. And it wouldn't be, yeah. It's just, it doesn't make sense for Aegon to have it. What's he going to do with an extra Valyrian sword that might be too small for him? Isn't it for a boy? I don't know. Oh, he got asked if he'd do his own fanfic and said fanfics are idiots, and he would write original content. Well, good for him. I mean, I can understand that sentiment about wanting to do something on your own, but the thing is, it's fun. It's the fanfic's a fun exercise, and it's very rewarding. And at the end of the day, if George R. R. Martin writes The Winds of Winter, it can be repurposed and changed around in the same way that 50 Shades of Grey started as Twilight fanfic and then became a huge bestseller. So it's not that like fanfic doesn't have like hopes. Fanfic is fucking great. But anyway, don't know if I'm reading into this, but when dismissing the Cyrax Vagar thing and making Ashara more than Jon's mother, are you guys shading the fandom? Sure, we're shading the fandom, but everything is shading the fandom. I mean, the entire book is a shade on the fandom. Like the entire book, like Ice and Fire is saying quite clearly, fantasy is and chivalry and all of these things that you fucking worship are dumb and horrible. Let me show you why they're dumb and horrible. And so I don't, I think one, it's justified, but two, it's like straight up George's alley. Like this is the problem, like there's a problem here and you need to be aware of the problems. Like fantasy literature, classic fantasy literature has serious problems that they recognized as early as Conan the Barbarian and like Elric. Like it's not like people didn't know from very early on that fantasy literature was problematic. This isn't new. Okay, this is something that's been going on for a couple generations. Like my grandparents understood this. So yeah, that's the thing is like Ashara Dane, the whole chapter, is stories of women and stories of women of faith and leading to like those restricted by faith. Like how do women have agency in this world? Well, you can get a nice marriage, or you can go into the faith, or what? Like, what are your choices? Well, Ashara Dane is something else, and that's in the same vein. It's in the same vein as Brienne or Ygritte, or or the Sand Snakes, or Arion, it's or Arya or Asha, it's nothing new. But yeah, shading the fandom. Sure, the books in its very nature is shading the fandom. This is the thing. It's which is fine. Like, look, I fucking love punk rock. I love it. I fucking love punk rock, and I understand as well that like punk rock is criticizing the very system that that fills my belly and gives me a very comfortable living. And I understand all of that. It's, they're correct points. It's criticism that I should accept. I'm part of this fandom that needs to be criticized. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing, is it should criticize the fandom. You should be looking for surprises and With the longsword, it may be. I'd have to look up like Widow's Wail. So little is written on Widow's Wail. I mean, essentially, it's given to Joffrey, and it's the last time we fucking see it. Just the assumption. He was being political too, talking about a leftist, so he hates Democrats and Republicans equally. Yeah, that's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard in my fucking life. Like, to somehow assume that like the world would be like it in such a bad situation if Democrats were in power. Like, wouldn't things be fucking fine? Wouldn't things be fine if fucking Democrats were in power? Like, Jesus Christ. No, no. Like, that's the thing, is you're part of the problem if you're criticizing Democrats. Like, yeah, we want to push Democrats to do things. Like, I would like to push Democrats into shutting down the government for over the ICE thing, like, and over extending the Obamacare subsidies. But at the same time, like, not voting for them and thinking like that'll show them. No, I mean, you're burning the whole fucking system to the ground. Like, it's stupid. That's just fucking stupid. Like, deciding that like, oh, this broccoli isn't good enough. Oh, this broccoli should try to make itself taste better so that I don't become obese. Like, you're like, oh God, you fucking like as if like people have no responsibility, to make choices. Like, why haven't they inspired me? Why haven't they come to my position? Because they've got a lot of fucking people to worry about. They got 75 million people to please, cut them a fucking break. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, Kamala Harris was an incredible candidate. She would have been an incredible president. She would have been fucking fantastic. But no, she wasn't good enough. So now where the fuck are we? We're in fucking fascism land. Like, Jesus Christ. It's just Robert Strong wielding Widow's Wail. That's an interesting idea. But Robert Strong, he likes the two-handed longsword, right? Like, he likes the big shit. I mean, Widow's Wail is a longsword, but he has like the two-handed longsword, right? Like, he would have something like ice, but ice has been split in half. But it's a good idea. Yeah, Trey, I don't know. I tried rebooting my computer several times. I don't know what's wrong with the maybe I need to do an Ecamm update sometime or something, but nobody's been able to call in. So I'm sorry. My boys can't call in. I haven't talked to Trey in a while. I lament. Which is, yes, the show starts in 49 minutes. Apophyni. Oh, apopheniac describes a person experiencing apophenia, the human tendency to see meaningful patterns and connections in random and unrelated data, like finding faces in clouds. Oh yeah, huh? Yeah, I think we all do that, and certainly when I was doing all theory crafting, that kind of stuff happens. But yeah, this is how generally conspiracy theories and things like that like start. Like with Ice and Fire, like, this is fiction. It doesn't matter. It's a book series. It's fun. There was this assumption that George was really, really a genius, and that the book was coming out soon, and they had everything planned. And then time goes on, and you're like, okay, maybe George wasn't planning all of this, and this was all imagined. And so I think we're probably all there. But yeah, the when people start talking about these like big conspiracies in life and things like that, that's all. Yeah, that's all that's happened. It's a lot easier to think about things when they're you know um, when you can clump them together. I mean, granted, like even if you take a glass, right? Like we think of this as one object. Our brain recognizes it as one object, but it's not really one object, right? It's just a bunch of fuzzy atoms that are actually very far apart, that, you know, very separate things, but we think of them as connected, And it's just, we've got lots of imagine. Always thought LML and Quinn's ideas were gay lovers. No, Quinn's married, man. He doesn't have any besides his husband, man. He doesn't have any of these lovers. Yes, I had no daylight savings time in the DR. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I can't stand leftists who view Republicans as Democrats as equal. It's unfortunate. Unfortunately, a very Gen Z option. It's lazy. It's just fucking lazy. It's trying to you're trying to like flex by being like, you know what, I'm better than both options. You think that I'm just worse. You can put me in a category. I'm better than both of them. And you're like, oh my God, dude. Like, do you see what's fucking happening because you didn't elect the Democrats? Like, do you see what's fucking happening? Like, how bad does shit have to get? Like, how bad? Like, at what point? I mean, that's the thing, is like, at what point? They will never admit they're wrong. This is the thing. They will fucking never admit they're wrong. You talk to fucking they interviewed what's his face in the 2000 election, the spoiler who made Gore lose, fucking can't like totally I'm sure somebody has like fucking put it right down there. Oh God, how's my brain blanking on it? It was Ralph Nader. Fucking Ralph Nader. You fucking interview Ralph Nader after, and they're like, oh, do you blame yourself for costing like Al Gore the election? And he's like, if Al Gore can't win, like with me running, he's so inept that like, and you're just like, oh my God, you fucking idiot. Like, oh God, you know, these selfish fucking pricks, but it's just so fucking obvious, right? Like obviously the world would be a better place if Al Gore were elected. Obviously, we wouldn't have gone into Iraq. Like obviously, the world would be a better place if Hillary were elected. Like we wouldn't have all the Supreme Court justices be right wing, and we'd still have legal abortion in all of America. Like obviously, things would be better if Kamala won. We wouldn't have fucking ICE like trashing cities, like being like. We wouldn't be threatening Greenland, invading Venezuela. Like Jesus fucking Christ, like obviously. And yet, like people that were like, we shouldn't vote for Kamala, like they will never fucking admit they're wrong. They will fucking never. They will go to the grave being like, I was right, when they're so fucking obviously wrong. Like just fucking admit it, man. Like obviously, I'm wrong about a lot of stuff. Like I admit I'm wrong. I try at least. Jesus, like, but man, just be like, I mean, I'll give that woman from TYT credit. She actually went on places and was like, yeah, I was wrong. I didn't think Trump was going to be as bad as he was, and he's worse. Yeah. Um, Liberals paved the way for fascism as they cave every single time. Look at now, as any established Democrat pulling in and really fight against Republicans. No, when you look at them, they do. But this feeling is, of course, there. And, obviously, I have a feeling too. But to say that liberals paved the way for fascism, the problem with that statement is that you're believing that they're the only ones with agency in the world. Like no one else's choices matter in your world. Like the Republicans actually doing fascism is somehow not their fault. It's liberals for not being strong enough to stop them. How about the public is too stupid to vote for the right people? Like, can't that be the blame too? That's the problem with your framing, is that each of these people have agency. Each of these people have choices. Like people choose who to vote for. They have a responsibility. Republicans choose what policies they run on. They have responsibility. And yeah, sure, Democrats also have responsibility. But the problem with this framing is you're like, the only person that has a choice. All fault fucking rests with the Democrats for everything. Like, imagine like somebody murders, your parents. And you're sitting there being like, who's at fault? He like busted down the door with his foot to break into my house, and the lock company is really to blame for my parents' death. Oh, really? Like the murderer has nothing to do with it, or like the police force in the area, or any of that. Like none of those things matter because the only person that has any fucking fault or any agency is Democrats. Like, come on, like fucking like call a spade a spade. You know who's responsible for fascism? Fucking fascists. Or who's responsible for fascists? The fucking electorate for electing fascists. Like, you somehow like don't elect the Democrats and then you get angry that they're not doing anything. Yeah, it was fucking your fault. Like, who is this? Who is this? This is this nah. Any plans for Emma and Jenna's line, Cleo's sons? Yes, all of these characters are going to be coming back at some sort. We're talking about like Ty and Willem. One of them might be dead. I'm trying to remember. But yeah, all of these are going to be handled and dealt with, but there is a time. I mean, one thing is that we got to wait for Cersei to get back to the Westerlands, and then we can sort of like deal with a lot of these characters. But yeah, so Tywin and Willem. And then Willem's dead. No, Willem's alive. He's like 10. And where he's at he's at Ashmark. And then Tywin is he's a squire. That's it. I don't know. Yeah, but they're definitely going to come into the story. That's I mean, all these characters are going to come into the story at some point, but I agree with Jaya here that I believe the Dems equals Republicans are boosted by signal Russian bots. Yes. I mean, I think I just saw that a study that 50% of all internet traffic is bots. 50%. Like, this is why I don't really have any faith in AI. A lot of people are like, oh my God, what they're doing with AI. I'm sorry, but like the internet is ruined. Like it's shit now. So they're going to get trained on shit. Like, and human beings are now like using AI to train themselves, and they're which is causing their minds to fall because the internet's shit and AI is shit. So, yeah, I just stopped by once and praised the revolutionary Ashara Dane idea. More Hotep chapters. Thank you. I did fear it was going to be like divisive, and it is a little divisive. But I'm surprised how many people are on the like, oh fuck, that's like, everyone is sitting there like talking about who she birthed and thinking about her as a womb, and like this heartbroken girl over Ned and things like this, and who she's the mother of, and it's like, and it's the same with Liana too, and it's like really the idea is to be like, wait a minute, like they're not just wombs, they're not just baby makers, like they can be something else. And so this is the idea that Ashara is going to be something else, and that she's going to be. But yeah, Hotah chapters. There's probably going to be at least one or two more Hotah chapters before the end. Yeah. Carmine's on fire tonight, man. You're on fire. Perot cost the election for Bush. Actually, a lot of studies have been done about Perot that actually found that he pulled an equal number of votes from both Democrats and Republicans. So I think the idea that Perot caused Clinton's election is not necessarily true. That most analysis shows that the poll was almost identical 50-50 from both parties versus Nader, which obviously when we're talking about the difference between one candidate and another being 500 fucking votes, obviously Nader like cost the election for Gore. I mean, I'm not a centrist in any way. I am straight up liberal. Like, there's no centrism to me. I am all about environmental regulations. I am all about social programs. I am all about women's rights, women's reproductive rights. I am all about like, international law. I mean, I am a straight up, like, if you want to say like I am a Bill Clinton liberal, like you probably hit pretty close to home. I'm probably more of like an Al Gore liberal, like that Al Gore probably would have been the greatest president to ever but at the time it was so stupid when I talked to like right wingers. They're just like, he's gonna take my gun, and you're like, fuck, we're so dumb. We're so dumb. Liberals made the fascists do it. Yeah, that's the thing. You hear this too about like, oh, it was all the woke people, and you're like, no, that didn't really do anything. You think like the world like is on Twitter, There's no leftist media left. I swear 20% of the leftist media. What leftist media? Like what? I mean, there's Slate.com, Salon.com, Daily Kos. But all the major newspapers have been captured by the right wing. All the major networks have been captured by the right wing. MSNBC. Like there's nothing left. Like the right wing has captured them all. Like there's no liberal media left. I mean, all of these things, if you're, if you're in a basketball game and you lose by 1 point, you can go back on the game and look at every single person's missed basket as the reason you lost the game. Sure, you know, but also keep in mind that the opposition also misses baskets. You know, so you kind of go, oh, if only they didn't do this and they didn't do this. So yeah, I mean, sure, you can go back when you lose by 1 basket, when you lose by 1 point. Yeah, any person that missed the basket in the whole game is responsible for the loss. Sure. But why are you going to single out like one person, you know, on the team? What would Cersei's arc and dream have been? I mean, I think generally speaking that the show follows Cersei's plot. I think, you know, she was made to eventually marry Euron and things like that. Like, I think that's pretty set in stone. And I think the evidence for that is when you look in the appendix and you see these little connections between Westerman and Ironborn in marriages and such. And you just don't see that. You don't see that with like the Reach or the North, but you see it in the Westerland houses. So I mean, I think it's, you know, and not to mention the Aeron dream of like the woman with white flame, that you're like, well, it's a woman. Well, how many people is it? Is it Dany or is it Cersei? Because you don't have that many options, you know. And so I think for the most part, it's, you know, the show that, yeah, after they defeat the others, then maybe there really would be this last final confrontation. YouTube for like 7 years hasn't been optimizing humans or bots. Yeah, it's definitely bots. I sit there, like, for some reason, like, even though I fucking put no every time, like, I keep getting recommended Norm Macdonald fucking videos. And it's like, the world shouldn't care that much about fucking Norm Macdonald. Okay. He wasn't that good of a comedian. He was he was just one guy. Like, why wouldn't, if you're really talking about like impact and importance, why aren't I getting like Richard Pryor videos or George Carlin videos constantly? But for some reason, it's fucking Norm Macdonald fucking videos, like constantly. Like, what bot farm is fucking like in love with Norm Macdonald? Like, who fucking cares? You know, he was one average comedian. Like, my God. I keep putting like not interested. Jesus. Fucking bot farm. The bot farm on him, man. Oh. Preston, could you admit how wrong you were about effective AI would be? The progress is very staggering over just a few years. I mean, I don't know what comments I made about AI. I mean, I know that from the beginning, people in business and schools and stuff like that were immediately using it. And I know that the quality of it has been shit, and it's still shit. So I don't know what exactly happened that I said years ago about AI. That I would be eating crow about. I still believe it can't get any better than it is now, or not much better, because the internet is done. It's already fed itself the internet, and it's now feeding itself on shit. I remember a fan theory ND Carmine praised a while ago about werewood leaves feeding brainwaves. Any chance that's a Revelation brand discovers? Werewood leaves? No, I think the one that Carmine and I really got tickled pink over was, there was a theory that the green men and their antlers, that those antlers weren't antlers. Those antlers were actually werewood branches that had been attached to the heads of the people on the island. And the minute somebody told me that, I was like, oh my God, that's so fucking genius. And that's so correct. because that's a song for Leah right there, right? That like in a song for Leah, before they join the Grishka, they take little pieces of Jello and put it on their heads as like a transition before they eventually join the Grishka. And so the idea that they would do the same before joining the Werewood Net would just put branches on their heads would be perfect. And so yeah, that was the plus not to mention like the antler men getting like antlers stapled to their heads, like these people would be stapling or whatever, jamming in werewoods. I think that's the one. um but was with the werewood leaves, like the whispers are actually like brainwave functions. I don't know. um I mean, even if it were true, I don't know how that would be discoverable, because like the characters don't know what brainwaves are. Like everything's very general, right? Like what is consciousness? Well, we don't know. Um, Sunrise and Fire has a massive influx of Gen Z fans, so so they'll complain about it soon enough. So right now, when I think about the younger generations, all I can fucking think about is the fucking Snack Bros on Saturday Night Live, and like Snack Bros, like that's just how I fucking see like people younger than me, that they're just sitting around talking about nothing, like really mundane shit, and being like, "Oh man, oh cheesy crackers are lit, man. They're so fire. Oh, but goldfish, man, goldfish are fire." You know, like that's all I fucking think about the younger generation. It's just Snack Bros. Um, do you think what's happening with my with this jumping around so much? So jumping around. Do you think Night of the Seven Kingdoms will stop at 3 seasons, or will they adapt some of the unfinished stories um, George has shown to Ira Parker? That's a very good question. Look, I don't think that George is going to finish any more stories, but he has outlines of, I bet he has outlines of Village Hero and She Wolves of Winterfell. So I think it's quite possible that that yeah, that that could happen. That we could see Village Hero and She Wolves of Winterfell on screen. Now that said, the thing keeping it back is it going to be a ratings hit? Is it going to justify that many seasons? Like, will people really care about in the Night of the Seven Kingdoms? Like we do, but we're not normies, right? Like, will the average person like tune in and be like, "What a fucking great show"? You know, I don't know. I have no idea. Um, I hell, why? I'd like to see it. Like, I'd love to see Swin. I'd love to see all that put to screen and see some stuff. But I think that's what we're looking at. We're looking at the same fucking situation we had for Game of Thrones. But then there's the question of like, will they try to push it to 6 or 7 and then try to cram in Summerhall and stuff like that? Yeah, I don't know. And then, but once you're past the source material, things are gonna get a little weird. Things are gonna get a little weird. But um, but yeah, no, I think there is a chance we will see the Village Hero as She Wolves of Winterfell on screen. I think there's a greater chance we'll see it on screen than we will in print. Like that's where I think we are. Um, but yeah, but I guess maybe it's all if it's doing well, and I mean I don't know if season 3 has been greenlit yet, but like we'll see. What can we expect from the next of the next Sansa chapter? I really like to see how Littlefinger perceives the whole Aegon thing. Yeah, I mean, the next Sansa chapter will take place in the Riverlands. So we will see a big jump. We will see a big jump. Probably Maidenpool is where it's going to take place. And then we got a lot of politics, a lot of fucking politics to deal with. Sansa is all politics, right? She's just surrounded by fucking political men who are going to be strategizing and thinking about where they're going to go, right? And we've got to deal with the power balance of Littlefinger and Blackfish and Sweet Robin and Waynwood, Donald Waynwood, and all these sorts of people that are vying for power in here. And it's going to be interesting. And we gotta, it's also going to be really complicated because it's just a lot of fucking houses to deal with. But when you start thinking like, oh, they take Maidenpool, what's going to happen when they take Maidenpool? Well, you know, who's in Maidenpool? There's some characters in Maidenpool that are going to be very interesting to be in Littlefinger, Blackfish, Sweet Robin's possession. You know, when you start thinking about Dick and Tarly, Harry and Karstark, things like that. You know, there's some people in Maidenpool. And there's a question of like, I don't know, maybe, I mean, we might find some of the Mountains Men too, because they were supposed to go to Maidenpool. And there's a question of whether they all followed Wrath the Sweetling, or if we might run into Shipmouth. I don't know. We'll see. It might be fun to run into Shipmouth in that. I know you get your feelings hurt about Hillary and Kamala, but how about assigning some responsibility to them as well, according to your logic, not just to the voters? I mean, sure, but the other option was so outrageously bad that I don't even know. I can't even like comprehend like the situation here. Like, what more did you want from this like very intelligent person that thought about like politics and everything in a very nuanced fashion? Like, you know, like when you talk to right wingers, they don't value any of that shit. You know, it's all about fucking sexism and racism and fucking and all of that. So like this idea that like, oh, let's assign some blame to them. Well, obviously they lost. Like obviously they but like we're talking about a whole country filled with 330 million people, and each of them makes decisions. And it's like, you know, like obviously they make mistakes but like they're not the ones to be solely blamed. The whole system, like we're all part of a collective. Don't you see how it affects you? Like, doesn't Obi fucking go back to the Gungans with Obi-Wan and fucking listen to the goddamn Obi-Wan? Okay, we're all part of a circle. Like, you must see that. Like, Jesus Christ, like fucking take some responsibility and be like, dude, people fucking suck. Like, people are really fucking dumb, and like. It's just one of these things. Like you present somebody like a nice like salad or rat poison, and they fucking sit there and go rat poison, and you go and you're sitting there going, wow, God damn it, the salad guy fucked up. He didn't make his salad appetizing enough. Like at what fucking point? Like I mean, that's true. Obviously the salad wasn't chosen, so obviously the salad guy didn't. But at the same time, like, who's the fucking idiot? Well, it's the public and the rat poison maker. So like, come on. None of the Seven Kingdoms, please talk. It's no shade, no limp, no justice. No lamp, no justice. Yes. Shade of the Lamp. I have to see how much Shade of the Lamp. You know, I'm trying to think. There's not much Shade of the Lamp. I have to see. I mean, maybe we're going to run into a Shade of the Lamp situation, but like, I can't think of too much that was lamp shaded in the story. But, I don't know. We'll see. Should Egg be given more to do in season 2? I will say this. Look, Dunk and Egg are good together. I don't think the Egg scenes by himself are that great. Like they're fine. There's one scene where he runs into the one-eyed guy, but keep in mind Egg, you know, he's not a great actor. He's a child actor. They will give him more to do in season 2 because I think I'm trying to think how they're going to fill the time. Like it was kind of an easier task to fill time at the tourney because there's all these people in this collective and there's a lot of stuff going on at a tourney, you know, which is why you're going to see like parties and sex workers and all sorts of stuff going on. Um, but Sworn Sword, they're off in the middle of nowhere. So like you do wonder how they're gonna like what side plots they're gonna create for season two. Huh. It's a good point to bring up though. I don't it's gonna be harder. It's gonna be a harder lift to come up with things for for them to do. To the leftist, committed liberals are centrists. See, I don't even, I mean, that's the thing is like, I don't know what position, like when you actually like start talking to like leftists and you say like, well, what positions do you disagree with liberals? And like about all you get is like being against free trade. Like, you know, like that's about the only difference, which is pretty small. And when you actually like tackle a like and you actually start talking to a leftist about free trade, you realize like after a while of talking to them, you realize that they actually like free trade. And but you know, you're um like honestly, like what leftist position is there right now that's not a liberal position? Like abolish ICE, you know, which is just like last week, and liberals are now might take that on. There's not, you know, like leftist. Like I almost feel like leftist hatred for liberals is mostly imagined. They're just like leftists are just like liberals are just leftists who aren't as fussy. You know, like that's it. Liberals are just leftists who vote. Like that's it. Leftists are liberals who don't vote. Like that's the only difference. Is liberals vote and leftists like come up with some selfish reason not to. Like what's the big difference? Like what is like outline it for me, you know? Like you go to a leftist, you're like you don't like guac at Chipotle. They'd be like, well, no, 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 you know, so I guess you do like free trade, you know, like shit like that. Um, I know 10 p.m. airtime should be for Adult Swim, not a Single Ice and Fire. I am with you. I am with you. Um, I don't know why they started so late. I think it's because of they calculate everything with regards to Pacific time. They're like, oh well, what can we release that would be that's like good for the East Coast, but also okay for Pacific. And so you go, okay, well 10, 9, 8, 7. They don't want someone like they don't think people will watch at 6 because they're not home from work. Um, What do you think, gang? HBO nailed Duncan Egg in colors, heraldry, satin cloths, and embroidery details? Or are we still thinking the boiled black leather and muddy wool era? Hype for Hota 15 at the God's Eye. Well, I mean, Hota, everybody's going to be at the God's Eye eventually. So let's like that's, you know, maybe Dream of Spring stuff. But I think, look, the show looks great. I mean, Game of Thrones looked great. And um, Night of the Seven Kingdoms looks fucking great. It's slightly more colorful than Game of Thrones, which is insane. That's not even up for debate. Like it's just so like that's really good aspect of the show. Like looks great, looks fucking great. The jousting fucking looks great. The horses, the bridges, the smells. Like you feel like you're at a Renaissance festival. It's good. It's good. Yeah, Willis Woad for Sansa 3. No Hedgehog Knight, no Re Riot. Yeah, I regret not having Willis Woad in the at the tourney, and so I may have. He can't change my mic again. Fucking a. It's back. Okay. Yeah, Willis Wode. Willis Wode will definitely be in Sansa 3. I'm surprised. I'm sorry that I didn't have him in. It was a mistake not having him in Sansa 2. Should have had him. Um. mm-mm. Finding the episode's only 30 minutes caused me internal bleeding. They're longer. They're actually like 40 minutes. They're like 40 minutes. So it's not, I mean, they're not a full 60, but it does go by. Um, um, liberal is capitalist, Preston. Here's the thing is that like no one understands what capitalism is. Like, look, Norway, Sweden, Denmark, they have capitalism. Okay, there's markets in fucking Scandinavia, but people would be like, well, those are democratic socialist countries. Those are socialist countries. Like the difference is just the range, like how many social programs and how much taxes you have to pay for the social programs. Like that's the only fucking difference, you know. And so like it's all capitalism. Like you're not taking capitalism out of anything. Okay. Even in communist countries, there's markets, whether they be black or whatever. So it's ridiculous to say that like they're not capitalists. Like the question is like what they believe capitalism is. If they like a lot of people say like when they say the word capitalism, they assume cronyism. Like if you were to ask me, there is the least capitalistic person is Donald Trump. Like this is a guy who uses public funds to like for private gain, who is stealing everything, it's there's no fairness to what's going on. There's no competition. There's no fair competition, right? He is an insult to capitalism. Yeah. And yet, if you were to ask a leftist, they'd be like, this is the problem with capitalism. You're like, no, that's cronyism. That's corruption. Like monopolies are not capitalism. Like the whole thing is that the government's there to break up the monopolies so that there's competition. Like Adam Smith was totally for intense government intervention. And he's the godfather of capitalism. And yet like everybody forgets this about him. So it's more about like definitions. It's like when people say socialist, some people think like gulags, like Stalinism, you know, and things like that. Like it's these words they've ceased to mean anything because everyone has their own fucking definition for very basic things like socialism and capitalism and communism and democratic socialism. Like no one and democracy. No one fucking like knows what they mean anymore, I guess, because of fucking, I don't know, maybe the internet and AI has melted our brains. So will Quaith travel with Dany when she leaves Karth? Also, based on the news, how will you stick with no Jon Snow chapters? Yeah, you know, I've been debating the Quaith thing. I think Quaith will probably sail with Dany. I think she just she's too interesting to the story, especially if she is who we think she is. That you need to have her there. To maybe be abandoned at some sort of future point. But at least, you know, she's too interesting to have along, you know, to abandon now. As for the Jon Snow chapters, here's the thing. It's a surprise that that he said that, because I sort of assumed that Jon was coming back, but not as a POV because there's too many fucking POVs. But at the same time, he said something else that didn't make sense, which was George has also said that he's like done with the Tyrion story. And he said that he went from working on a Tyrion chapter to working on a Jon chapter, as if he's not done with the Tyrion story. So George just fucking says shit too. So let's also keep that in mind, that it may not be 100% that there's John chapters. Because George just says shit like, I'm working on it and The Winds of Winter is coming out soon. I mean, he says shit. So yeah, I mean, but all things considered, yeah, there's probably in his head Jon Snow chapters. That's surprising that where he is in the story, that Jon would have already come back to life and get a point of view. But no, I mean, I think it's more interesting not to have Jon Snow chapters. But capitalism has never been a free market or equal opportunity. That's the entire point of why left. I mean, this is the theory of why, of like, the whole idea is that competition brings prices down. That's the whole thing. So, Quaithe being C-Star, nah, it's not that interesting. C-Star, she's had like one non-named mention in the whole fucking story. Like, who fucking cares about Shira C-Star? I can't believe we waited so much for a 30-minute show. 40 minutes show, man. Just enjoy that 10 minutes, of Dunk dancing with Lionel Baratheon for that extra time, to pad on time. Do you think time-traveling Bran has ever gone, oh fuck, when he realized something went wrong and threw himself into the sinkhole? Love you, Preston. Yeah, I think there's many times in which probably, keep in mind when you say time-traveling Bran, like what I mean by time-traveling Bran is the collective embodiment, snowballing of thousands of Bran consciousnesses from failed timelines, going back in time and rejoining the collective with more knowledge. So the idea is that every time-traveling Bran that goes back is like, well, fuck, that didn't work. Time to try something different. Oh, that didn't work. Time to try something different, and going down different lines. My boy sounding like Giles Rosby here. I know, man. Fucking, I'm so tired of it. I'm so tired because it's been like a month and I don't have, this is the thing. How many capitalism doesn't bring times of when there are monopolies? This is what did I just fucking say? Like, government is needed to make free markets work. This is, Adam Smith said this from the beginning. The most obvious primary one is the breaking up of monopolies. Government's role is to break up monopolies so that there's competition, so that when there's perfect competition, price equals marginal cost and you get low costs. There's lots of things that in our market that functions, this way. Like, Coke and Pepsi are pretty fucking damn cheap. Like, there's a competition between them, and they're not that much. So there's a lot of things like this. Zippers, go to the hardware store and buy screws. Like, they are fucking dirt cheap because competition brings them down to nothing. So capitalism works, but it requires government intervention. They go hand in hand. The problem is that people think capitalism means no government intervention, and that government intervention is the opposite of capitalism. This is why the world is filled with idiots, and we're just falling apart. Is that you try any government program and somebody's like, oh shit, yeah, socialism, yeah, the gulags are coming, and you're like, oh god. And then you have somebody else being like, I fucking hate capitalism, tear it all down, and you're like, oh god, just fucking fund the government, and have it regulate shit. Like, that's what it's there for, man. That's what it's fucking there for. Just give us Scandinavia. Just fucking give us Scandinavia. No, the point of capitalism is not for businesses to become a monopoly. That's not the point of capitalism. Now, if you're thinking, what's the motivation of a firm it's profits. And yeah, getting maximizing profits would be seeking a monopoly. But that's not the point of capitalism. The point of capitalism is a system that brings cheap, high quality products to people through competition. That's the fucking point of capitalism. And that's achieved with nice government intervention to a free market. Like, that's the fucking idea. Like, and when the market like fails to work, like for instance, healthcare, then government can take that shit over because it's just not fucking working. When it's proven to be a broken market, government can take it over. But like, if I'm talking about, again, like soda, I'm not for the government taking over soda production because there's nothing broken about that market. Like Coke and Pepsi compete. They give us some cheap shit that's pretty good. Like I have no fucking problem with that. Like no need to have state-owned soda makers, right? So the thing is, like, all of us like kind of understand this. Once this is all explained, like everyone should be like, oh yeah, well, yeah, no, yeah, okay. Because we've got fucking Scandinavia. We've got the fucking Scandinavian example on this earth that shows what good systems are like. And instead you get these like, it's as if we don't have Denmark to look to. Like just fucking look at Denmark and how great it is. Like let's just fucking copy that system. That's it. God, it's so fucking easy. Oh man. How do modern tech companies view into capitalism? They need to get the fuck out, and government needs to break them the shit up, and we need to work on campaign finance and lobbying and end it, because these businesses are getting too powerful, and they are controlling government rather than government controlling them. Okay, so government needs to be controlling, the businesses. So, all right. And we are at 11 p.m. So, guys, I hope you enjoy Night of the Seven Kingdoms, and I will probably see you guys tomorrow. Okay, take care. Bye.